might not be high energy today. Very difficult night. Actually, all of yesterday was just shit. Trying to get stupid Bayonetta 3 to work. I managed to make things worse somehow, and I can't even overclock the game anymore, so... I just, like, don't even want to look at that right now. I was having more fun with the game as I kept playing it, but... it's just annoying. It's just, like, refusing to work. I just don't have the patience for it right now. I woke up with immense pain from stress and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I need to take it easy today.
Don't expect mercy from me.
I took the day off caregiving. Am I missing any characters? I think I have everybody, right? Or am I missing some? I think that's everybody. Should go look at their stream right now and...
into the face of death!
Maybe I'm missing like 2 or something. Just take the save file from the previous version, just copy paste it. That's how I did it when I got the phone. Got the phone version. Just go into the saves folder of whatever the last version you played was and just copy paste it, and it'll be like nothing happened. That's just how this engine works. It's not hard to make a save work. It's not like a more modern game where they sign the saves to your account and shit like that. You just copy and paste the file. It's easy. And if you don't have it, sure, I can do that right now. No, it's free. It's on PC and mobile. need the save file? Here, I'll do that for you right now. Hold on. It's easy. You're not burdening me or anything. You're a good friend, so just give me like a moment, all right? Yeah, I'll probably I might make a video for this later. I had a really rough day yesterday, like freaking like 7 hours of tech support, so I'm really mentally drained. I don't know if I have the mental capacity to really do it today, but the game loads a lot faster now too. That's why I'm willing to help you out. It used to take like a minute to load. Now it's really fast. There you go. Check your DMs. Just take that from your download folder, put it in the saves folder of the new game, the new version, then just extract it, and it'll be like you're playing on my account. It's quick. All right, let's go back into the game. Yeah, that only took like 30 seconds to do. It's not a big ordeal to do that. If it was like the last version of this game where it took forever to load, I would have probably said like maybe after I'm done playing this for the stream, but no, it's fine. I need to try the mobile version. Apparently the mobile version loads like way faster now too. But I'm not working over there today, so it'll probably be tomorrow's stream. Provided I don't fix the Switch and I can't, my screen is frozen. Oh, I know why. The source gets messed up on OpenBOR games. Alright. Yeah, it should be fine now. Yeah, XSplit counts the loading as a different game. So when it actually loads into the game, XSplit gets confused, like, wait, you closed that game. There's no other game running right now. It gets confused, it doesn't know what to do, so I had to go in and refresh it. The patch notes were in Spanish, but it seems like they changed a lot of the code. They like reduced a lot of the code, so I guess it's like looking through less stuff to load the game. It's instant now. I have an NVMe drive in here. I don't have like the fastest one out there, but I got the best I could with my budget. And this game still took like a minute to load. It's like not how it should be. Kind of expect the phone to like not load the game fast, but loading issue. They're doing a lot of really weird stuff with this engine. This is like a custom version of one of the older versions of OpenBOR. This is pretty much still the best best engine if you want to make a beat 'em up. It has like a a lot of the things you need.
Perfect.
Just like Mugen, you know? There's not really a better fighting engine than Mugen still. Except for Ikemen Go, which is like still pretty young.
Perfect.
If you want to just make a fighting game with like existing sprites and shit like this, it's better to use Mugen than try to like learn Unity or something. Gotta learn how to combo with him. Problem is this engine is really old. This engine's like gotta be a good 15 years old now. I remember playing the first open BOR game, the one that they had as a base, like 15 years ago. One with KOF sprite edits. There actually are commercial games in this engine. There are commercial games in this engine, but very few. But they're like not beat-em-ups. That's what's funny about it. They're not beat-em-ups. They're like it's like a Metal Slug type run-and-gun game. This engine with all unique sprites, no sprite rips. Which is kind of weird because there's like barely any documentation for this engine. So if you're trying to make something that's not a beat 'em up with this, you can. There's nothing stopping you from doing so, but more modern stuff is better, I think. I think the guy that made that game, I forget what it's called. It's like Molicera Brothers or something. It's a Metal Slug type game. I think the guy had done a lot of games like this. Silver Knight Crusaders, is that a original game? I've never heard of that one. How's it going? I had a very difficult day yesterday. Trying to just relax. think I've heard of that, yeah. There's a couple commercial games on this engine, but there's only like 3 of them. Let's just try the new route. I can't really get far because I haven't really practiced. What am I supposed to do? Alright. Can somebody post the name? Just link the guy to the video. Thank you. Game is free, it's on PC and mobile, so cheapest platforms. Can't run it on PSP. This game will not run on PSP. It's too big. PSP can't fit it into the RAM. Most open VR games you can play on like a Vita. I don't think you can play this on a Vita either. I used to play open VR games on my modded PSP like ages ago, but they're starting to get bigger. Like any halfway decent phone, you can run this, and it has controller support, so you don't have to play with the touchscreen. Let's just practice. I'm not ready for it. It should, yes. Don't quote me on that. I'm not balling enough to have one. Weren't you the one that offered to help me get one? How is that thing? Remember, I think it was you that said that you would help, but I'm like, it's a frivolous purchase for me. I mean, I work from home. I work from home, and I go to my neighbor's house, and I have like plenty of games to play on the phone. So I'm not too bent out of shape over it. It would be nice to have, yes, but I'm not really the ideal market for it. I don't have a commute or anything like that. I literally just walk around the corner and walk back. I would like to have one, but honestly right now, donations and stuff will go towards games, and then the last bit of my PC upgrade, which is going to be, I need a new processor, I need a new motherboard, and then probably some new RAM, and that's it. But that's still going to be like probably a good like $600. But then my computer will be pretty future-proof. kick. Sexy kick.
Sexy kick! Tiger kick!
Oh my god!
Do any air moves?
Oh my god!
I barely got to play it. I spent so long trying to get damn Bayonetta 3 to work at a good frame rate. I barely got to touch it. Plan was to do Bayo 3 first because it's gonna be like a quarter of the length of Star Ocean, but it's just running really poorly. I tried to do some stuff to make it run better, but now my custom firmware is all screwed up, and I can't even overclock the games anymore, so I had a breakdown. I got really upset last night, just really frustrated and annoyed. The game is pretty good. I'd say it's definitely better than the third game in some ways. There's way too many mini games. The frame rate is really inconsistent. I find the collectibles and puzzles to be a little bit overbearing, but the actual combat is fun. I think that they listened to most of the complaints from 2. I definitely think, for balancing, a mod for that game would be, like, maybe make Bayonetta herself do, like, 20% more damage, because the demons do way more damage than you. But it's actually really fun to incorporate your moveset with theirs. I think that's what sets it apart from, Astral Chain and B and DMC5, because in those games you had... The character couldn't really do much of anything. It was all just summoning. The problem was the controls were confusing, the summons didn't really always do what you want to do, and the character you're controlling was kind of boring to play. In Bayonetta 3, it's like, you still have a really big moveset. You have 2 weapons you can switch between and everything. The demons just kind of add on to it. And it definitely does feel a little bit imbalanced, like, the demons do way more damage than you. I think if they maybe made Bayonetta do like 20% more damage, I'm just pulling that number out of my ass, but if they did that, it probably would feel a little better. But it actually feels like you need to use all the mechanics to succeed, and make like a good weapon combination and stuff. It's not just like the first game, the second game rather, where they went out of their way to make it so you couldn't have fun. You couldn't like really make your own style of playing the game at all. It's just you had to mash Umbran Climax. You couldn't do anything out of Witch Time. The enemies would parry out of combos and stuff. I haven't encountered any enemies that have done that yet. I'm like maybe halfway through the game. Don't listen to anybody who says it's worse than the second game. I think the story is stupid. The story feels like Kamiya watched too many Marvel movies, because it's got all this weird multiverse shit in it. And the problem with making multiverse shit in the third game in a trilogy is that it undermines everything that happened in the second games, because obviously those games were not written with a multiverse in mind. You know, there was one Bayonetta, and like all those events happened in the same timeline for the most part. There definitely was some time travel shit in the second game, but it wasn't too bad. I think the plot in the second game was really dumb too, but now it's got this multiverse stuff, and it's awful. It really is. Kamiya must have like binge watched like every Marvel movie on Disney Plus or something, and now he thinks Bayonetta needs multiverse stuff, which it doesn't. The story is definitely a deal breaker for a lot of people. I think the gameplay is actually quite a bit better than 2.
Oh my god!
Also,
my god!
the format of the game is it's kind of like a Super Sentai Power Rangers kind of thing, where you fight a lot of bosses on ground, but then when you get to the boss that has the item they need to fix the multiverse or whatever, you basically transform into the demons and you become a kaiju. Now the problem with that is they're shitty, gimmicky minigames that aren't fun, the frame rate tanks, and they're not particularly deep. They feel like Mario Party minigames where it's like they function, they're not unplayable, but they're not enough to carry a game. It feels like this weird mix between like these MCU multiverse movies and then like Power Rangers Super Sentai episodes where you have a lot of the ground fights and then you have the mecha fights, which are, most people who still watch Tokusatsu will tell you the ground fights are what's cool, right? The mecha fights are held back by the fact that they have a shoestring budget and they try to use CGI, but then like it's still a guy in a suit and the costumes for the mecha suits are like fucking super hot to be inside and they're heavy, so they can barely move. Some people swear by, and they watch Super Sentai, that they skip the mecha fights, and that's kind of how it feels in Bayonetta 3. It's like, it's cool to probably watch somebody play, but actually playing it yourself just feels like, when can I get back to the regular gameplay? Yeah, I've watched a lot of Tokusatsu, and the format of the game is actually pretty similar.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Story-wise,
Oh my god!
story-wise, without any spoilers, because I know some people still care about the story, Bayonetta 3 has the problem of trying to add multiverse and like complicated shit like that to a simple story. It's like obvious that they never really intended for it to be that insane. They never intended for it to have multiple universes and like 50 Bayonettas and shit like that. And that just makes it feel tacked on, and it makes the other games feel irrelevant. A lot of JRPG sequels have that problem. There's very few JRPGs that get sequels with like the actual same continuity. I'm not talking about like Final Fantasy and Tales games where it's like a completely different world and there's no connections outside of like little throwbacks and cameos. It's a completely separate story. I'm talking about when they do direct sequels to JRPGs, like all the Final Fantasy VII stuff, Final Fantasy 13, and like the couple Tales games, and they add like time travel and shit to them. It just undermines everything because it's clear that that was never really the intention. You take a simple story and you fuck it up with stuff like that.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Feels like the controls changed a little bit. I gotta get used to it.
Oh my god!
Maybe I have to do it faster. Yeah, we'll play Star Ocean right now.
my-
Play it right now. We'll play it right now. Switch games here. We'll play it right now. Play it right now. Play it right now. The newest Kamen Rider season, I hear the story is pretty good, but the problem with it is the rider forms look so cheap. It feels like sprite edits. Feels like the Morrigan sprite in Darkstalkers. How they used that sprite for like 17 years. They used that sprite for ages. And it's just instantly noticeable. I haven't watched any Kamen Rider Geats myself, but the suits just look awful. And they did that on purpose, so that they can make, like, they can have a lot of riders, but they don't have unique suits. They feel like clone movesets in Musou games, where it's like they look different, but they look like marginally different, but they're basically the same. But they did that so they could have like literally 50 riders. They can have like 50 riders. They just have like the same undersuit, and they change like the torso and like maybe part of the bottom part of their legs, and that's it. It really turns me off it. That's just as an outsider. I haven't watched any of it myself, but as an outsider, I haven't watched the season.
How exquisite.
Initiate emergency protocols.
Gonna sound prevail.
Destroy. Threat of insufficient output.
Here I am.
Usefulness low. Destroy.
Any closer to getting out of this place? Straight from the top. We will leave you behind.
Baird! Yes, I believe we are almost there. We must press on!
But yeah, Bayonetta 3 has a lot in common with Super Sentai. The way that the game works. With, like, you have ground fights. And then you transform into a big kaiju. It's just mecha fights are pretty boring. Super Sentai. There are some exceptions. Like the ground fights are where it's at. Like that's why you watch. That's why you watch that stuff.
Energy levels low.
They were full to try.
Threat neutralized. Insufficient output.
I hear you.
Low.
Not with my
Yeah, you can. I'm not very good at this game yet. I've only been playing it for like 20 minutes.
Best not turn down a chance for rest.
Threat detected ahead. Warning. Energy levels low. Destroy.
Freedom now.
Copy that.
Victory will be ours. We are nearing the exit of the ruins.
We must pass southbound through this forest in order to reach Larset village, must we not?
Yes. If we continue southeast from here, we will be near the place where we first met.
That's so. Well, it's on the way. Mind if we stop by my lodge for a sec?
Of course.
Hello.
Let us be off then.
Guys, I wanted to say I'm sorry for the...
My promise left unfulfilled.
Sorry I made that post yesterday. I was just feeling really defeated. Just frustrated.
Ready for engagement.
Taking it easy today.
Warning. Energy levels low.
I know people probably think those posts are repetitive, but they are how I really feel. I feel frustrated with the site and annoyed, and I feel like I can't make things I want to because I'm too depressed, or I just feel like I've put the effort in and it won't do well.
Initiate emergency protocols. Insufficient output.
I'm like, I just don't want to mess with that stuff tonight. I just want to play things that work. I've had surprisingly little problems playing this, so I'll have to ask somebody how I can fix the Switch. I'm just like, man, I don't even want to look at that thing right now.
The enemy is before us. We're fool to try.
Warning. Energy threat neutralized.
Press on.
We must pass through the forest to reach Larset Village. Time offers us no respite.
I know. I'll be quick about it.
They shall see us deterred.
We have company.
Threat neutral. Insufficient output.
Stay down.
Should be just a little ways more to the east. Let me call my brother real quick before we head out.
It is uncouth to eavesdrop on a family matter.
And to unconditionally trust these two is folly. They could very well be exploiting our ignorance for their own personal gain, and we'd be none the wiser.
Thank you for the donation.
Does it matter?
Thank
I
you.
need them. But even if I did,
$10.
they're reasonable
Thank you.
people. Plus, they
I'll
saved
go
my
towards
life. That's enough for me.
nothing related to the channel. I'm gonna get some snacks with that, maybe later tonight. So I'm off tonight. Thank you.
It's
It's
not.
very very nice of you. Didn't have to do that.
Hey, my bro says he wants to talk with you guys.
It's like I don't need to buy any more video games right now. I got this to play through. I've got Bayonetta 3, Final Fight LNS Ultimate just dropped.
Yes?
There's a Stranger in Paradise DLC I just touched. Like, yeah, I don't need any more video games right now. I'm good on those. I'm gonna go do something for myself. Maybe I might take a break around like 6 or 7 and go to the grocery store and pick up some snacks or something. Thank you.
Sir Antonio, my name is Leticia Acerius. And with me is...
Albert Bergholm, sir.
Miss Osirius, Mr. Bergholm. I'm sure Raymond here comes off as a strange.
No,
weird man.
I'm not a Final Fantasy fan at all.
Please, look
No.
after my little brother for me. The Lawrence family.
I tried the FF7
Long
remake. I
line
couldn't
of
stand that
well-known
game. I just didn't like the gameplay.
We always pay our debts.
But the PC port was also garbage. That didn't help that game's case
Nothing to
for
fear,
me.
sir. We shall do
I
our
spent
utmost
hours
to
trying to
ensure
fix
the
that game, and
safety
then
of
I
your brother.
finally get it working. I'm like, yeah, I don't really like this game. I don't like the gameplay
Ray,
at all.
Try not to be too much of an
It just felt
annoyance
like
to your
worse
new friend.
Tales.
Good luck. Over and out.
I'm not a Final Fantasy fan at all. The only Final Fantasy game I've ever finished was
You are
Stranger in
loved.
Paradise, which is a
I wish, but nah.
Action
you just can't help
spin-off.
treating me like a kid.
nothing to do with the popular FF
I don't know
games.
about you, but
outside
I can't
of
wait
minor
to sleep
references.
in a bed. Let's get going.
Agreed. Let us depart.
Come on, let's make our way to that village.
Right.
Larset Village is to the south.
Warning. Energy levels low. Destroyed.
Put it to good use.
Neutralized. Perimeter secured.
I'm not even a Final Fantasy hater. I just don't like the
Can't
games.
see squat in
I
here
never
with all
have.
these
I've never
trees.
had
Hey, are we
any
going the
real
right
interest in them.
We are. Stay on this course.
The forest is teeming with danger. Remain vigilant.
I've played a couple turn-based games.
Insufficient output.
I like the Mario and Luigi games. Because those weren't just straight turn-based RPGs. The combat in those games was really fun. You didn't just stand there and trade hits and keep healing and stuff. You had to actually dodge the attacks. It wasn't about tanking stuff. It was like actually more active. I really liked it.
Warning. Use low. Destroy. Threat eliminated.
Chrono Trigger I mainly just liked because there were no random encounters. I'm an avid random encounter hater. I can't stand them. Like, that game was... I played that game when I was a kid, when it came out. My buddy who lived around the corner, who I still talk to, he had the game, he let me borrow it.
If we continue on our southward course,
I think people undermine how
should depart the
revolutionary that
forest.
game was, even though
Excellent.
the
village
combat is like
just
nothing
beyond it,
really
then?
special. The fact that you could see the enemies on the screen
Unfortunately not.
was huge.
It will take us some time.
There's like
to
still
pack through the
games that come out
Arcus
with random encounters to this day, like almost 30 years later. That game was pretty unique. I didn't play the sequel. I thought it looked ugly. I had the same opinion of that I had of FF7 when it came out. I'm like, these graphics look worse than the pixel
We are
art
now
sprites.
entering the Locust region.
They look
Come,
way
Let us
worse.
continue to the
Like,
south.
the game didn't even look visually
Right,
appealing
let's
to
go.
me anymore.
Much easier without all the trees, too.
I know that game is divisive for story reasons and stuff, but
Walking.
I just thought it looked ugly as sin.
Insufficient output.
They were cool to try.
Samurai Maidens, I need to see more on that one first.
Neutralized.
Bleed.
I haven't really looked at it too much. I don't know if have they even shown like non-edited gameplay of that yet. I can't really get too excited for video games anymore unless they have like unedited gameplay. Like kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm like competent at the game. I might not be like I'm not the best at this game, obviously, as I literally just started playing it, but like you could watch me play this and want to buy it because, you know, I've actually played a video game
Your
before.
Highness, the village of
I've
Larcel
played games of
lies
this
to our
type before,
west.
like even though the game itself is new, it has familiarity to it and
Can't wait
stuff.
to kick my feet up. Oh, and take
That tends to be what gets me excited for a game.
I
When
second
it's
the latter.
edited like a movie trailer
Let us
or
be
something, or it's like somebody talking over it and they keep editing the video and clipping away from it and stuff. I don't get as interested, which is kind of why I run the channel the way I do. I know that the meta on YouTube right now is video essays and like highlights of streams and stuff. I don't like watching those. I don't. I just want to see the game. I want the game explained to me, so that's why I run my channel the way I do. I
Set village is not far now.
actually do I actually do a fair share of editing. It's just light editing. I edit good takes together and stuff. Yeah, I don't like watching heavy edited trailers and video essays and stuff. Like, no, I just want to see the game. That's why on here I do like raw gameplay with no mic. And then after I've played the game for a while or I beat it, then I put up commentated gameplay. So that way, people like me, like, I just want to see this game. I don't want to listen to some dude talk for 20 minutes. I don't want the clip to get cut away from every 5 seconds.
Don't you think
I just
we
wanna
should
see the
hide
game.
that thing? Kinda makes us stand out.
I do not think it an issue, as it closely resembles a semiomancer's orb, such as the one over there.
We have arrived.
I liking this game better than Arise? Yes. Well, I've been playing it less than an hour. It's definitely better than Arise. It just does not have the production values that Arise does, but that wasn't the problem with Arise. It felt like an actual high-budget Tales games. It felt like they wanted it to be taken seriously, so like, hey, we need to stop fucking around. We need to have like better graphics and better quest design and stuff. So like, I keep telling people this, like, I can be hard on Arise, but it has a lot of good qualities. It's just not the gameplay. But the problem with that is it's a Tales game, so the gameplay is like the main gimmick, right? Like, if you want like a better story and like better graphics and stuff, and you don't want action combat, you still have a lot of things to choose from. When you play Tales, you're like, okay, the graphics are not going to be the best, the story is probably going to shit the bed at the end, and the quality of life is not going to be on par with like Square Enix's stuff. But you can't get that gameplay anywhere else in the JRPG, so you put up with it. The thing about Arise is they made great strides in making the design and the presentation of the game look like an actual modern game, because Tales games always look like a generation behind. The PS3 games look like they could have run on like a PS2 Pro or something. If they had done like a hardware refresh for the PS2 like 6 years in, instead of going straight to PS3, like, those games could have run on that. Like, the way that they look and stuff. Those were things that needed to be changed. I just hope the next game, though, make the gameplay better.
You must be tired.
That's the kind of meal that makes you glad to be alive. Alright, so, where do you want to begin?
First, would you mind telling us whence you hail?
If you thought I said some weird stuff before, brace yourself. I'm from another world, one that's far, far away in the sky.
Another world, you say?
Far away in the sky?
You know, like how you can cross a mountain to get to another village, or the ocean to get to another continent. If you fly high enough, you can cross the sky and reach other worlds.
Prefer
Like the
gameplay and guides?
stars?
Yeah, me too.
Which star do you call home?
Whoa now. One, it's a planet, not a
I get
star.
annoyed when people
Two,
tell me,
you
like,
can't see it
you
from
need to
here.
play more popular games to grow,
I've never
or
heard
you need to
something
do
so
the
asinine.
popular kind of videos. I'm like, well, I
that's
don't
because
want...
people
I
on
should do
planets
that,
like yours
yes.
don't usually learn this for
The
a
only
couple
thing I
hundred
cared
more
about was
years.
money, then yes. I
Anyway,
would do
my
that. And I
job is
have
to
in the
transport
past. I
cargo
have.
between planets.
I have
And
made
we now
edited
know
reviews and
Duma
stuff
was my
before.
cargo.
But that's not
My
what I
vessel,
really like
the
to
Aegis,
watch.
was attacked by another planet's battleship, and I was forced to flee.
I just
here.
make what I want to watch
Right now,
myself.
I'm looking for
Like,
a crew member. Chloe, gotta be.
if I was a
traipsing about here
completely
somewhere.
different person,
Oddly lackadaisical way
Uh,
of describing being
and I was just a
lost in an
subscriber
unknown
like you
land.
guys,
She's
like,
got a good
I
head
would
on her
watch...
shoulders, and she's great with languages.
I would watch my
Roughing
stuff
it a little won't bother her.
instead of those heavily edited videos if I was a subscriber like
And
you guys.
now I'd like
That's
you
just how
to
I choose
answer
to run
something for
things.
me. What's a princess doing sneaking around outside her castle with only one bodyguard in tow?
Because I too am looking for someone. Per my intelligence, at one point, he was seen entering the Medum ruins. Therefore, I have a proposition. In return for helping in your search for Chloe, I would like you to assist us in ours.
Sure, but I don't know how much help I'll be. I'm not even from here.
The person we seek is hardly congenial, but he is inquisitive. Your presence will be more persuasive than any argument we can make.
Sounds like I got my work cut out for me.
Yeah, I'll still be
Further
playing Destiny
information
Remake,
will
just
help.
probably not
His
at
name
home
is
anymore.
Magnus Felgreed.
Kind of had, like,
He was a former Meister,
good
one of
2.5
the most
weeks
accomplished semiomancers
not playing
in
new
all of
games. I
Artharius.
had time to play that, but now I got I've got this in Bayo 3 if I can fix my Switch to play, so...
It was
I'll be
long in
playing
coming,
that game on
but
the
I've finally
retro
taken
streams.
steps forward.
Won't be playing it at home for a while.
I trust that you are willing to help me take a few more, Duma? Hmm? Strange. What is he doing at this time of night?
Hey, Princess. How's it going?
Attempting to walk myself to sleep. My apologies. I should not be burdening you with our troubles.
Hey, I'm the one who said we should join up. I would have never been able to take care of food and lodging by myself. So don't be shy. Let me help you too.
Well, if you insist on it then.
Atta girl. We don't need more than one negative Nelly around, and Albert's got us covered there.
I am the reason he remains so troubled. Please try not to think ill of him.
No. I know. I guess he's, been through a lot, right? All those worries would turn anyone's smile upside down.
Do you feel no need to inquire, to fill in said details?
Where we are is within the kingdom, and Albert's always wary of the Empire. The princess of said kingdom is sneaking around looking for a banished wise.
I heard the story of this game
I
is
can
not
imagine
great,
some
but
details.
I think
There's
it's
bound to
cool
be
how the
bumps in
first
road
thing he
ahead.
does,
Let's at
Raymond,
least enjoy
the
the
blonde
quiet while
guy,
we can, princess.
he just like
Might
fucking
I
pulls out a gun,
then
like...
ask something of you.
Sure, name it.
He clearly shows that he
Refrain
came in a
from
spaceship,
calling me
so
by my
he
royal title and use
he
only
ignores
my
the
name.
UP3, he breaks it
I
like
gotta
right
think
away.
That's gonna make Albert a little mad.
Yes, well, we are undercover, and this would make things
The
enjoyable.
problem with
for me.
Star Ocean is
Do you
the
agree,
plot
eh?
twist in the third one
Yep,
kind of like
gotcha.
really limited what
Well,
they can do with the
About
story.
time to hit the hay.
So I think it's kind of a
truly
unique
I shall
take on kind of a
return and
tired
rest,
formula at this point.
Now that I
'cause
have spoken my mind.
The last two games kind of just
Alright,
ignored
good
that
night,
3 even existed.
Leticia.
But
Yes.
this one's
Have
like,
a
nah,
good
fuck
night,
that.
Ray.
We're not gonna make you hide the space stuff. Just use it right
Let's
away.
head back to the inn. Oh, and
I
hey,
think it would have
do you
been
think I
stale
could
if
keep
they
using
went
this
with that
weapon?
whole thing again.
Of course. Consider it yours. There is also a merchant within the village. Shall we take a look tomorrow?
Sounds good. Gotta be ready for anything around here.
It's a cool plot
Make
device,
sure
so
Duma
you know,
doesn't get up
just
to
don't
anything.
like
It's important cargo.
run around and
Don't
shoot
wanna break
things, but they used it too
They
many
have been
times. They
nothing
used
but
it like
obedient while in my
5
care.
times.
Still,
I think it's cool
can't
how in
be
this
too
one,
careful.
just fuck it, this guy doesn't
Very
care.
well. Oh, it seems the Sandman finally has me in his clutches.
Like in the second one, you just have like this freaking BFG from Doom at the beginning. But then he has to like stop using it because it'll break the UP3 law. Like the first, you fight like this
I'll
big
be at
like
my best tomorrow
ape
if I
type
do
thing,
not rest soon.
and he just fucking shoots
Not
it.
to mention the earful
It's
from
like, nah,
Albert.
you can't do that.
Let us return to the inn. Good night.
It's in the second game.
Morning. Before we head out, I just wanted to thank you again. So, thanks, Leticia, Albert.
Good morning to you too, Ray.
So, where exactly are we headed? I kind of forgot.
The mining town of Delric, which lies far to the south. Once we reach it, we can take stock of our situation.
Oh, right. Sorry, this is the first time I've had a good night's sleep in a while. I'm still not quite with it yet.
Then you'll have yourself to blame if you are attacked.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Most Star Ocean games are shit. A lot of people really like 2 and 3. 4 is a divisive game, but 4 just came out at the same time as Tales of Vesperia, and Vesperia is an objectively better game, even if that game has its faults too. 'Cause I remember when 4 came out, and Vesperia was right around the same time, and Vesperia is just a straight better game. You know, that was kind of the beginning of the decline of JRPGs. There were a lot less of them. Especially on the Xbox, you had very few to choose from. Like, that was... Vesperia is still, like, the best one by far, even counting turn-based stuff, which, you know, most people don't like turn-based or Tales combat. They like one or the other. I'm the latter. I can't stand turn-based combat. I find it dreadfully boring. Unless it's something like Valkyrie Profile or Indivisible or Mario and Luigi, where you're not just trading hits, there's like, you know, action parts to it. Vesperia was still the best one around that time. Final Fantasy XIII was like barely a JRPG. It was mostly just walking in a straight line and watching cutscenes, scripted battles. like the bare minimum of what a JRPG is.
We have all the items and arms we may be.
Yeah, people hated FF. People hated FF13
Well, that was indeed fruitful.
because it was barely a JRPG. It felt like a pretty sharp downgrade from the 10 and 12.
Come on, you two. Let us be on our way.
12 was a very divisive game too, because it was basically like playing
The
Final
Delvia
Fantasy
region
7,
ahead
Final
is
Fantasy
vast.
11
I would
offline.
wager even a seasoned traveler would consider it quite a distance.
But it was still an RPG.
Come,
There were towns
lead
and
for the
quests
region
and
of Delvier.
non-linearity and stuff to
Southbound
it.
from our current position, I believe.
Roger
I think
that.
people just didn't really like the
Very
kind of
excited.
weird
You seem to
offline
be
tap
getting
target
used to
combat it
using a
had,
sword,
but
Ray.
it was
At
still an
first,
RPG.
your movements were
You
rather
couldn't say it
unrefined,
wasn't
to
one.
say the
It was a
least.
weird one.
So, guess I can't really tell if I am refined or not.
We merely continue practicing. I shall be relying on your skill.
Well, I shall do what I can.
Threat neutralized.
Very well, I shall tell you. Continue your current southern course.
Okay, kind of spooky. How did you know I was going to ask you for directions?
I merely got the look of confusion written upon your face.
Acceleration. Insufficient output. Destroy.
They were fooled to try.
Warning. Energy level neutralized. Insufficient output.
I had a roommate steal my
Warning. Energy levels low.
hard drive for my Xbox. At least that's what we think happened, because I never lost it. I think that guy secretly hated me. It's like, man, how far we've come. Now we just have cloud saves. Back then there was no cloud save on the Xbox, so I lost everything.
Warning. Energy levels destroyed.
Not with my promise left
But yeah, to this day I think he did steal the hard drive, because while he was there, he was like freaking Danny Tanner from Full House. He would get like, he was a clean freak, and like whenever he would clean, things would go missing. I really do think he
Not
was
to be a pain, but are we
he was
almost to the
pocketing
Delvia
stuff.
region?
Threat neutralized. Insufficient output. Warning. Destroyed.
Everyone all right?
Low.
Enemies.
Positional tactics ineffective. Insufficient output. Neutralized. Warning. Energy levels low. Destroyed. Threat neutralized.
Definitely have had some unsavory roommates in my time. The other guy that lived there was a really bad alcoholic, and I remember one time our water shut off, and it was his responsibility to pay the water bill. The rest of us paid the rent and stuff. We took care of all that. He didn't pay it for months, so one day our water just went off, and we had to confront him about it. He wasn't there much longer, let's just put it that way. Spending all his money on booze, he couldn't be an adult and take care of responsibilities.
Neutralized. Destroy. Usefulness low.
That's what I tell myself sometimes. I don't drink or smoke or do drugs. It's one thing I've done right.
You shall see us deterred.
My mind is not all ravaged from doing that stuff.
It seems we have finally crossed into Delvier territory.
Sure did. Let's keep on keeping on, I guess.
Delric Village lies to the southwest. First, however, we must continue farther south.
Threat neutralized. Warning. Energy levels low. Destroyed.
That's like the meme of people taking PS2s with them, even if they weren't like avid gamers, because the expansion bay in the back, you could hide weed and drugs and stuff, and like nobody could see it. There were a lot of people who did that. Just like keep a PS2 around when they travel, because they could put like drugs in there
Your
and it'd be
Highness, hey, mind
inconspicuous.
your footing.
People actually did do that.
Oh, hush.
I know
this
it's a
is
meme,
nothing.
but that actually
You
was a
worry,
thing that
but-
people did back then.
It is because of your predisposition towards recklessness the moment I turn away.
PS2 was like a secret
Must be
weed
vigilant.
compartment.
Threat with insufficient output. Destroyed.
Especially because that expansion bay was used for like two things. Expansion bay on the
We should be going south from here.
expansion bay on the PS2 is basically useless. Unless you played Final Fantasy XI or Phantasy Star Universe. Those were like the only things it was used for. The Ethernet adapter or the hard drive
Energy levels
was used for
low.
barely anything else, so people would legit put weed and stuff in
Insufficient
it.
output.
It served no other purpose. Could definitely stick like small things in there.
What vile toxin is this?
Patricia!
Not.
Unable to continue combat.
Trust this to me.
Remain vigilant.
Yeah, the original Xbox is like the worst Xbox console. The controller was garbage. And it didn't get a lot of multi-plat games. And Microsoft was new to the game industry, so all they really had for exclusive IPs was Halo and Forza. They tried with stuff like Blinks the Time-Traveling Cat and shit, but nobody cared about those. It's pretty much Halo, Forza, and Ninja Gaiden. Those are like the main things you'd buy an Xbox for. I mean, to this day, it's still like that, really. Sony and Microsoft don't have anywhere near the IP strength that Nintendo has, which is why Nintendo sells so many more copies of those games than the God of Wars and stuff. Their hardware sucks. Nintendo hardware is terrible, but they have, like, way better franchises. But back then with the Xbox, it was really bad. Those are like the three options you had.
Energy levels low.
Forza, Ninja Gaiden, and Halo. Halo was like the only thing that the average gamer was really jealous that you had. You had Halo 2. People would be like really envious, but then like they look at your other games and like, yeah, I'm better off with the GameCube.
Levels low.
Xbox didn't have Final Fantasy or Smash or Mario or anything like that. Shitty people were even envious of the GameCube for a while because it had RE4. I was actually working at GameStop at the time when that game came out. I think we sold like more GameCubes in that game's release window than any other time. There were so many people coming in to buy a GameCube just for Resident Evil 4. The Xbox didn't really have anything on par with that, outside of like Halo 2.
Insufficient output. Unable to continue combat. Warning. Energy levels low. Insufficient output.
Get stronger.
Energy levels low.
More than you deserve.
Insufficient output.
What the fool to try.
Warning. Energy levels low. Usefulness low.
I must catch my breath.
Oh, hey! Is that Delric Village over there?
Yeah, I never wanted an Xbox either, Power Flood. There was a brief period of time where my buddy Chris had an Xbox for Halo, and he bought Ninja Gaiden. That was the only time I was envious of not having an Xbox, because he had Ninja Gaiden Black.
Delric is the largest
I was like
and most productive mining town in the
one
kingdom.
thing that made me
Don't
want an
expect us to go looking
Xbox.
for you if you get
but-
lost.
Yeah.
Being a late teenager at the time, I didn't have
what's
like
our next move?
$300
First
to
thing
buy a new
tomorrow
console,
morning,
so
we go
I played that
visit
one
the
game
resident
over there.
theatrimancer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had no interest in the
A rare
Xbox
breed of
otherwise.
specialized
There was not a
semi-amateurs
single other
charged
game I
with
wanted to
tending
play.
people's wounds and
They really struggled at the beginning. You had to wonder what would have happened if Halo didn't exist.
Sorry about that.
That's like the one
It's
killer
quite
rap that they
alright.
had.
You're not hurt,
'Cause even
are you?
Forza is kind of more of a car enthusiast kind of
Oh, I'm
game.
fine.
Uh,
Never seen you here before.
It's realistic racing like Gran Turismo. Not everybody likes that. More people like arcade racing like Ridge Racer and Burnout.
Alright, gotta run.
So it wasn't as big as they wanted it to be.
That was strange.
I barely hear any, like, core gamers talk about Forza.
I know what happened. You were probably making one of your faces, and she assumed you were on death's door.
Perhaps I was. Were you and Her Highness not such a handful, though, I wouldn't have to make any face.
Ooh, hear that? Sounds like he's bad-mouthing you.
Only because you goad him. Reap what you have sown by yourself. Keep me out of it. Ha!
Well, hello there. I hope our humble mining town can...
This is pretty good.
All right. Now how do we find this so-called Iatromancer?
Enquire of the townsfolk. I can think of no other way.
Huh. I suppose you're right. Maybe one of them knows something about Chloe, too.
Oh, let's see. Head west from here and you'll come to a large hill. Are you feeling all right? Give the doc my regard.
So the guy you're looking for is at the infirmary or whatever?
Apparently so.
It looks as though the infirmary is located farther up on the hill. Let us make for the west side of the village.